Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Tellarknight deck. Now obviously this is a brand new archetype and I'm messing around with it trying to make it work out. Tellarknights are a deck that are a lot like Constellars. They gain a lot of advantage from any type of summoning when they summon themselves. They also try to give their own advantage through summoning, try to special summon more things, try to get out XYZs. That's their main kind of plays, to get advantage from the summoning and then make an XYZ. This deck is very incomplete because a few of the cards that are going to be really big for this deck are in the OCG. So when those come out, the deck will be more rounded out, and I'll talk about that in the side deck. But I still think right now it has a lot of good plays that it's able to do. So first off, we're going to be running one Blackluster Soldier. Obviously a light heavy deck, but we're also running Kagetokage, so that'll be nice for us. One Honest and a light based deck, three Kagetokage, as I was saying, just nice for this deck, giving us some additional summoning engine with a lack of monsters that we might need access to later on. Three Alsahm, so this one could be run at two, but again, because of the OCG cards that we're missing, I like to have more copies of this. Obviously, with the advantage you're getting, this could be really nice to do some damage and then bring out an XYZ. Altair, pretty much the star of the deck. You're definitely going to want to run three of this just to get you some really nice advantage. Deneb can be very nice just to search out things to make big plays. Very nice for this deck. So two Unukalhai. So Unukalhai is very interesting, just allowing you to send something to the graveyard. So it's also a beater with a Foolish Burial effect, which sets up what you need to do. Very nice for the deck. And then three Vega. You could definitely run this at two, but again, with the lack of monsters, I'm currently running it at three. When the OCG monsters do come out, I might run this at two. But again, very nice that we're allowed to special summon things from our hand so we can gain even more advantage to XYZ summon. So for the spells, one Dark Hole, two MST, two Reinforcement of the Army. Really nice that this is at two right now, so we can search out the entire deck, making it pretty consistent. And then two Skybridge. Skybridge, very cool to make our big plays to summon out the Tellarknights. Really, really nice. We can do some big advantage from this card. And then two Soul Charge. Again, we gain a lot of advantage from summoning, so we could do a lot of really powerful things with Soul Charge, along with all the other effects that we do have in the deck. For the traps, a lot of staples, also to Call the Haunted. Again, we're getting big advantage from summoning, so I do like having Call the Haunted in this deck. Two Fiendish Chain. Two Stellarnova Alpha. I wanted to run this at two, but again, because of our lack of monsters, I thought it would be powerful to have, another one of this. Allowing you to negate whatever, and then very nice that you can draw a card. Usually when you have to give up something as powerful as a monster on the field, you don't get the advantage of drawing a card for, these counter traps. So I really like that we do get to draw a card from this, kind of a one for one type of thing. Very, very nice there. And then Stellarnova Wave. I haven't seen a lot of people run this, but I wanted to run it at one. Probably when the OCG cards come out, I'll probably take it out. But I'm messing with this, kind of using it as a tech choice. I think it can be, pretty fun and nice to make some big plays with this deck. So now for the extra deck, obviously going to be a very big component of how this deck works. We have access to a lot of stuff, so I'm going to get right into it. One Blade Armor Ninja with Warriors, really nice to have. One Castel, very useful card to have. Two Omega, you can run this at one. I really like this card overall, so I'm running it at two. One Exciton, one Gagaga. Heroic Champion, obviously, with Warriors, very powerful. King of the Feral Imps to search out one Kagetokage. Two Style and Honor. I find that it's very useful to have two of these nowadays in a deck that can just XYZ like crazy, so I like to have two. One Ragnazero can situationally be very, very powerful. And then two Starliege, again with a light-based deck. This is a very powerful card. And two Stellarknight Delteros, so somewhat of the boss of this deck, allowing you to keep your Tellarknights from being, affected by effects when they get summoned. So you can keep on, summoning things and gain some advantage. And then you can also destroy things. So Delteros becomes a pretty powerful card for this deck type. You can definitely run it at one, but I think two is fine. There's a lot of choices you can make in the extra deck, obviously with a deck like this, so it's up to you. So now for the side deck, if you haven't seen a video of mine before, in the side deck I kind of just go over other recommended cards, other ideas I'm thinking about, other things I've seen from other people. Not meant to be a side deck for matches, just trying to throw out some stuff there that you guys might want to consider when you're building your own Tellarknight deck. So you can use Blue Mountain Butterspy in place of Kagetokage, just another choice. And then just some of the OCG cards that I want to talk about. Beetlegeist can be pretty useful to use some of the interesting effects. I really like some of the things you could do with that. Procyon, I definitely would want to run Procyon if I'm able to, just allowing you to gain some advantage and kind of recycle things. It's an interesting card to make use of. Sirius, basically Pot of Avarice for this deck, so I really would like to run one of this when it comes out. Just again, to have a Pot of Avarice in the deck would be useful. Star Seraph is a build that I've definitely seen some people run that looks pretty powerful. I'm definitely not going to mess with that until that comes out in TCG. Star Seraphs are not really complete yet. They're missing a lot of their core cards that are in the OCG right now. Some other spells, Hex Tellarknight, another OCG card that looks interesting. Obviously the field card for Tellarknights, giving us some interesting advantage. I'm trying to think if that would be worth running. Instant Fusion, again, a card for swarming, but we could do enough swarming on our own, not really necessary. There's an equip card for Tellarknights, but I'm not actually the biggest fan of it. Where Returning Alive, obviously you can use that in place of some things to get some power back from the graveyard. Trap Stun, another thing to do with back row, Forbidden Lance, other things like that. You can run that if you want. There's a ton of other XYZs you can run. The Heroic Champions, Gandiva, Kusanagi are both pretty powerful. Obviously, number 86 will be really nice when it comes out in TCG. With this deck, it can make some really big plays for you. You can summon out a lot of warriors very easily with this deck. And there's another Tellarknight boss in the OCG, which I really want to run. Looks really powerful, so I would like to run this at some point. And then there's some other, triple XYZs you can run, Violent Insignia, Ouroboros, all those other ones you could think about adding for this deck because it has that power to bring out a lot of monsters at once. So that's my Tellarknight deck. Again, just a summoning deck. Focuses on bringing out those ranked 4s. I'm looking forward to what this can do when the OCG cards come. I still think it's really powerful, but again, those OCG cards will kind of help it be complete. It's still very consistent in getting what it wants, but the OCG cards will just allow it to make more plays and not just rely on a few things at once, which is currently what I think is the problem with this deck. I do like it a lot. I think it's a bit similar to Constellars, which is kind of annoying. I wish it had more uniqueness, but I think they're going to try to add that as time goes on. So I'm looking forward to that. But if you guys do have your own Tellarknight decks, you could post below. Let me know in the comments. You could talk about what cards you use. Maybe you guys can make some suggestions for me. Maybe some cards I didn't think about. I would really love to hear that for this deck, especially because it's such a new archetype that people are playing around with. But that's about it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.